Welcome to the deep dive. If you click on this, you're likely looking for, well, the shortest path to high-value knowledge. Today, we are really tearing apart this idea that content strategy is just some optional marketing chore. Because according to the research we've pulled together, content roadmaps are quite literally the difference between a startup thriving and joining the 90% that fail.
That's absolutely right. Our mission today is pretty sharp. We are diving into some heavy-hitting research. We're talking Content Marketing Institute, Gartner, HubSpot, McKinsey. And the goal is to prove definitively that content planning isn't just, a nice to have, it's existential. The core finding you really need to absorb right away is this: strategic, planned content delivers results that are literally dozens of times better than just reactive.
Dozens of times, wow. And the stakes couldn't be higher.
Right?
Especially if you're operating in that high-risk startup world. We all know that 90% statistic for overall ventures not making it. But let's drill down a bit. Why do they fail? Poor marketing, which really means wasted effort, wasted money that contributes to failure in a shocking 29% of cases.
29%.
Yeah. That makes it the second most common reason a founder has to just shut the doors.
It really means that if you're struggling right now, there's almost a 1 in 3 chance that your chaotic content approach, or maybe the lack of one, is kind of the silent killer.
Okay, so let's start with the money then.
Yeah.
Let's really look at the financial damage caused by what we're calling content chaos.
Yeah, we almost have to start with the sheer magnitude of the global waste just to get some context. Analysts are projecting that globally, something like $72 billion is wasted on ineffective marketing just in 2024.
72 billion. That number is staggering.
It really is.
But okay, let's bring that pain down to earth. What does it actually cost the individual founder, the leader listening right now?
Right. So when you look specifically at startups operating without these documented roadmaps, the financial bleeding is immediate. They waste up to 60% of their total marketing budgets. Just because they're using that trial and error approach, they're essentially guessing. 60%. That's just devastating when you're already cash strapped, right? So if a typical early stage startup is spending, maybe $10,000 to $20,000 a month on content teams or freelancers, that 60% waste means they're squandering somewhere between $13,000 or $180,000 per year.
Mm-hmm.
That's like paying a full-time senior salary just to operate without a map.
Exactly. And what's maybe equally shocking, though, is the content usage failure rate.
Mm.
We found research confirming that 60 to 70% of B2B content goes completely unused.
Wait, hang on, 60 to 70%.
Yeah.
So for every 10 articles or videos you produce, 6 or 7 just never drive any outcomes. How is that even possible?
Well, Forrester actually breaks down why this happens. They found 65% of customer content goes unused because of really fundamental issues. Things like findability, relevance, quality, and these are all direct consequences of, poor planning. You're spending time, resources, money on assets your sales team can't even find.
Or that customers don't care about.
Exactly. Or that just arrive at totally the wrong moment in their journey. Right. And that brings us straight to the massive opportunity cost, doesn't it? The customer journey itself. We know that stat, something like 70% of the buying journey happens before a prospect even thinks about talking to a salesperson.
Mm-hmm.
So if your unplanned, kind of chaotic content misses that whole early education, that trust-building window, you basically missed the boat entirely.
And, to flip that statistic on its head, HubSpot data shows the payoff for consistency, which is really only possible with planning. Companies that publish 16 or more blog posts monthly only possible if you have a roadmap and a system that generate 12 times more leads than companies publishing fewer.
12 times.
That's the difference. It's systematically feeding your pipeline versus, randomly throwing darts and hoping something hits.
Okay, so we've definitely established the catastrophic cost of just winging it. Now let's flip the script. Let's look at the payoff for the people who actually get this right.
Yeah.
This is where the numbers stop being about loss and start being about, potentially exponential gain.
Yeah, and this brings us right to what we call the crucial documentation gap. The data shows only about 40% of B2B content marketers even have a documented, formalized strategy.
Only 40%.
Right, and then look at the results that follow. Only 22% describe their content marketing as extremely or very successful. So basically, if you don't have that plan written down, you are almost certainly in the massive 78% group of underperformers.
Wow. Okay, that really defines the chasm, doesn't it? And I think this leads us to maybe the central data point of our whole deep dive today. The 37x success gap. Tell us about that.
Yeah, this is it. The top performers that successful 22%, they are 37 times more likely to achieve their content goals than the least successful marketers.
37 times. That's hard to even process.
It really is. And it highlights the power of strategy among those most successful marketers. 74% rate their strategy as highly effective. Now compare that to the least successful group. How many of them rate their strategy highly? Only 2%.
2%.
It's stark. The success isn't primarily about budget size, you know?
Yeah.
It's about having the blueprint.
Okay. And if we zoom in even more specifically, let's talk ROI. What about something technical like strategic SEO? You mentioned the differential gets even more extreme there. We're comparing basic keyword research versus like a truly strategic content roadmap approach.
Oh, yeah. Now you're talking about the 46x performance multiplier.
46 times.
46. Strategic SEO, when it's properly coupled with comprehensive keyword planning, delivers a massive 748% ROI. Compare that to just basic reactive content marketing, maybe with some cursory keyword research thrown in. That only produced about a 16% ROI in the studies we looked at.
So 748% versus 16%, that gap is,
Yeah,
yeah, that's your 46x multiplier right there.
exactly.
So what's the mechanism? Is it just like publishing more stuff, or is the targeting fundamentally different? Help us understand what strategic SEO is actually doing.
Yeah, it's a great question. It's definitely not just about volume, it's about value alignment. I mean, look, the average SEO ROI across different methods is already pretty good, around 22 to 1. So $22 back for every dollar spent. That already blows paid search at like 2 to 1 out of the water.
Right.
But the strategic approach, it focuses intensely on rank ordering keywords based on their actual business value, mapping them carefully to the customer journey stages, and then producing a consistent, high-quality output, maybe 6 to 8 really solid pillar pages or core pieces monthly. It's the system that filters and targets the resources that wins, not just, creating more content for its own.
System wins.
Mhm.
Okay, so if the system is what wins, what does the blueprint of one of these successful organizations actually look like day to day?
We found some really clear foundational traits among the winners. Looking at successful startups, 96% use content calendars. So they actually know what they're publishing next week, next month, probably next quarter.
96%.
Yeah. And 78% conduct their keyword research before they even start writing. Not as an afterthought. They do it up front to ensure relevance. They're just consistently executing against a plan they've actually documented.
That almost sounds like, I don't know, basic business hygiene.
Yeah.
But let's contrast that. Why are the 78%, the vast majority, underperforming? What are they missing?
They're missing those really critical first steps of planning. It sounds simple, but it's true. The top reasons cited by 42% of marketers is just a lack of clear goals. They don't know what they're trying to achieve. Then 39% report their strategies aren't actually tied to the customer journey. They don't know which content should solve which specific customer pain point at which time.
Mm-hmm.
And 35% just admit their approach isn't data-driven at all. They're basically creating content that's irrelevant or maybe aimed at totally the wrong stage of the sales funnel.
This really brings up the whole question of consistency, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We saw a stat that organized marketers, those with the plan, are 674% more likely to report success than their disorganized peers. 674%. That's just massive.
It is massive. And that kind of success difference isn't achieved through, like, random luck or occasional wins. It's systemic. We also saw that proactive planners are 331% more likely to succeed. Why? Simply because they maintain consistency. Remember, something like SEO takes time. It requires maybe 6 to 9 months for content assets to mature and really start showing tangible results.
It's a long game.
Exactly. But a company without a roadmap, they're constantly pivoting reactively. They get spooked. They change direction. They end up killing their assets before they ever have a chance to generate ROI. They just start, stop, restart, and lose all that crucial momentum.
And I guess without the plan, you can't really measure properly either, can you? Planning kind of enables measurement.
Precisely. We found 84% of the top performers measure their content performance effectively. Compare that to a tiny 15% of the underperformers.
84 versus 15. Huge gap.
It is. And measurement naturally feeds scalability. 61% of those top performers have scalable content creation models. They can actually grow their output without just linearly increasing staff. Compare that to just 17% of underperformers who have scalable models.
So without the roadmap, you can't scale efficiently. You just end up hiring more people to execute.
Yeah.
More chaos.
That's exactly it. More expensive chaos.
And chaos is expensive. Especially when we start talking about maybe the most precious resource of all in a startup, the founder's time.
Oh, absolutely. Time is the ultimate opportunity cost, isn't it? According to analysts we looked at, startup founder time should probably be valued at like $1,000 an hour minimum, maybe more, because that time is irreplaceable. It should be spent on product vision, strategic partnerships, raising the next round of funding.
The really critical stuff.
Yes. So when founders are spending hours bogged down in unplanned, maybe ineffective content review or even creation, they're directly diverting attention from the activities that actually secure the company's future.
So the true cost of content chaos isn't just, say, that $180,000 in potentially wasted marketing budget we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
It's the cost of distracting the leadership from the core mission.
Precisely. But here's the flip side. Strategic planning is also a massive time saver for the entire organization. Take social media planning tools, for instance. Studies show they save users an average of 41% more time.
41%.
Yeah, that translates to over 20 hours saved per month per user just by having a plan for distribution.
Wow, 20 hours a month just from planning social. Okay.
And HubSpot research drills down into those sort of micro inefficiencies too. They showed users save about 3 hours per marketer per week, so maybe 12 hours a month that was previously just lost to what they call tool toggling.
Tool toggling.
Yeah, jumping between different apps, searching for information across fragmented systems because nothing's organized.
Got it. Okay.
And this whole waste problem gets even deeper when we look at the general efficiency of marketing teams without a plan. One piece of research found that these teams spend only 36% of their time on actual marketing activities.
Wait, only 36%.
36%.
That's staggering. So you're saying nearly two-thirds? 64% of your marketing payroll is just going toward admin overhead. Finding lost files, that tool toggling, general disorganization.
Yeah. Almost two-thirds of the effort is basically just cleaning up the mess caused by not planning upfront.
Wow, that puts a number on it.
And this is particularly relevant right now, with the rise of generative AI. AI is obviously a powerful engine, but an engine needs a map, right?
Right.
Generative AI can definitely increase productivity, but only when it's coupled with strategic roadmaps that actually direct its use effectively. Point it towards business-aligned topics.
So AI amplifies strategy. It doesn't create it out of thin air. You need to tell the powerful engine where to drive.
Exactly. We found data showing 56% of the most successful organizations are realizing significant efficiency and workflow gains from AI. Compare that to only 31% of the least successful organizations seeing those benefits.
So the winners are using AI to execute their map faster and better.
While the losers are potentially just using AI to generate more ineffective content chaos, only faster than before.
Okay, let's start to wrap this up. Let's summarize the massive differentials we've seen today. Content marketing fundamentally is efficient, right? We know it costs something like 62% less than traditional marketing and generates about 3 times more leads.
Absolutely. But those benefits, listener, you need to understand, they are not universal. They don't just happen. They really only accrue to the organizations that have documented strategic roadmaps in place. This entire body of research we've walked through today proves, I think, pretty conclusively that content roadmaps are not some expensive luxury item. They are actually a required preventative measure against massive financial waste and systematic underperformance.
The numbers we laid out today, that 60 to 70% content usage failure rate, the 37x success gap, the 64% of team time just loss of chaos, they really should give you pause. If you suspect you might be in that 78% underperforming group right now, it's probably time to take a hard look at your own documentation gap.
Yeah. So here is the provocative thought we want to leave you with to kind of chew on. Since we know maybe 2/3 of content creation efforts often end up wasted, what is the true calculable dollar value of the next unplanned piece of content you might be tempted to create? Think about that cost, and then think about how much time and resources you could actually save if you invested that same capital, not in just creating another random thing, but in doing the upfront strategic research first.